Hi Jason, this is Aaron Beckett here with my level 4 educational game. What can the game engine achieve? Well, I was using the RPG AceVX creator that was on the website. I thoroughly enjoyed using this program. I believe it has numerous educational benefits. Creating fantasy worlds or real life worlds, setting up games that might have a historical context, or even allowing students to be able to design their own houses using the 2D grid format. Being a 2D game, it can run on most computers, so a lot of schools wouldn't be hampered with it. The cartoon style graphics are highly appealing, especially to children. There's many different tile sets, so there's lots of different areas that can be created. Like I said before, you can create your own areas or your own tile sets, or you can download new ones, and students will always be keen to play this sort of a game to get going. It's very reminiscent of games like Pokemon, so kids should be easily able to play the game without too much hassle. As you saw there before, there was a story pop-up. Students might be able to write their own stories as individuals and place them into their own games. Or you could do some round robin writing where each student gets to write a part of the story and they get to create their own game around that. Depending on what type of unit of work, you can change it to your suit. So if you were doing space or Wild West, you could create stories depending on what type of unit that you were doing at school at the time. The game is very reminiscent of the Encarta puzzle quest I used to play back in the day when I was at school. Students can create their own characters and they own looks at their characters, but we'll get to that later. I suppose using this in an educational context, you could use it to supplement different activities. As you can see on the screen, I'm just going through the various forest guardians that I'd created who were asking the questions. I've integrated this as part of a web quest where the students would have had to do a web quest and find information off the internet and able to fill out the web quest, and the characters in the game are going to ask the answers of the web quest, so it's kind of like the final part of a lesson where they've had to go through and find answers from all other places and not just from their own general knowledge. You can change these questions to be anything you want. You can use math work, you can do history work, you can even do book reviews. Characters can ask about the plots of books that they might have done during the course of work. If you're doing a sports, you could do soccer rules or rugby rules that they have to go and investigate. So it's really good. You can supplement worksheets, so being able to customize the questions is very, very good. It can be the basis of a whole class activity, like a narrative designed by students. It can be the basis of a drama lesson, so if the students wanted to write a story or create the story out of a drama. This really gives them the opportunity to create their own second world based in a myth or in fantasy, where they can look at different types of characters in the story and establish stereotypes, protagonists and antagonists, and they can change up stereotypes. They can have women in powerful positions. It really solidifies itself in imaginative play, being able to do a narrative in the role play elements, part of the mimicry. Same with the game-based learning leads into the Ludus, the games with rules, as there are defined rules within the world. And I believe this would be a game with a purpose, as they're trying to get to the end of the game there. You can have your different types of questions within the game, as you can see on the screen at the moment. He's answering a math type question. You can create the questions as multi-choice, or they can have missing elements or missing words, or you can ask riddles within the questions and the students have to go find them. It can be off the net or at a resource like an encyclopedia within the room, or even having to ask the teacher where they have to go to find the next bit of information. The environments themselves, you can go through forests, deserts and snow and make do realistic placements, recreate cities of the ancient world. This leads into more stuff like map making and top-down maps, shapes. If you're looking at the younger school, doing different types of 2D shapes. Also directions, north, east, south and west, being able to, if characters can be asked which direction they need to travel next in order to go to the next quest. There is a battle system also in place within the game. I didn't really add it into this one as I didn't believe it really added that much educational value. I know you'd be able to really use the battle system within math, so the students would know like how much health they had or how much attacks took away the health from enemies and whatnot, but I do believe the questioning adventure part of the game did add a lot more, especially if you're looking at the GPAC model with the student game, pedagogy and content. If you want all of them to cross over in a nice neat package, I do believe these adventure type quests with the questioning are actually the best way to go, as we do get a good crossover between the student wanting to play the game itself being attractive and them wanting to complete it. Obviously you can change the content to however you see fit, and being such a direct and personal kind of adventure to the students, it really does get across the pedagogical content. With the customization within the game, as you can see on the screen at the moment, you can have so many different types of questioning. If they get it wrong, like you can have the line of questioning. If they get things wrong or get things right, you can have different responses to different questions. Like how he's entering in at the moment, it's going to be we're going to enter in the wrong thing here, and it's going to tell us that it's wrong. But it does give the students opportunity to go back. Like, I didn't feel it was fair to create too many penalties within the game. We really do want to make sure that they actually find the right question. I didn't want to penalize them too much. But they do have to get the formatting correct, so there had to be a capital letter in Australia. Let's see here, like I said before, they have to go and find stuff from other parts. Like you can send them on quests around the classroom itself, like I have in this question. They wouldn't have actually found it within their web quest. They'd actually have to go and travel to a place within the school to go and find the answer for their question. Because the game offers a save function, I do believe that that is a good way to go. It gives it an even higher level of interactivity, not only like with the web quests or any other quest that you or situation that you can set up within the activity, but allowing them to get up and away from the computer as well to go and find the answers. I believe it's very good example of like inquiry-based learning. I've got the riddle coming up here. You can slow these down. I know that one's going very quick, but the riddles themselves you can use as the basis of a class discussion. You can have multiple different answers for the riddles as well. Where I've ended up here at the end of the game was where I was going to put in a bit of the battle simulation. I couldn't quite get it to work. But overall, I think the RPG Maker is a very powerful tool, with the students being able to even create themselves within the game. There's many different ways that they can pop themselves in or create characters that they've made up in their own fantasy worlds. I do believe it's a very effective teaching tool if it's used in the appropriate way. If you don't use it in the right way, I can see how things could get out of hand quite quickly. But I do believe, even with more modern day teachings, this type of game making is becoming a lot more easier and you don't have to plow that much time into actually creating the games or being able to customize them towards your own ends. So I do believe this is a useful tool I will use in the future, and is quite powerful and effective, and I really enjoy it. So thank you for listening to me, and yeah, I hope to use this within my own teaching practice in the future. Thank you very much.